Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Charles Moulton, and I'm sitting here in the rehearsal room of the theater in Gelsenkirchen, where I work as a singer, as baritone in the opera chorus. And I do a lot of gigging on the side. I do a lot of concerts, teaching, and writing, as many of you know. And I had a little time on my hands, and I would like to record a 10-minute video about what I believe in. And there is a lot of good vibrations, good decisions, good paths happening in the world right now, where I find it's important that people are feeling these things and taking these good decisions to become masters of their own spirituality, masters of their own soul, making their own spiritual decisions. You know, not having someone else say, look, this is right or that is right, you know, starting to take the decisions themselves. And again, I want to invite you to consider these things that I'm saying. And you have your own opinion, you know, and you can't force anyone to have that opinion. You can't. Because the moment when you say, you're wrong and I'm right, that's the moment when the other guy will go, no, I'm right and you're wrong, you know? And that's a ding-dong. That's a ping-pong game that ain't gonna stop, you know? Because you have to just be a good example and say, I'll leave you your opinion, you know? I think this way, you think that way, you know? You can consider if you want to find out, you know, what I believe, if I believe in what I believe is right. You know, you can do that if you want. And if we're honest, we have to live in a world where we accept other people's viewpoints. Because if we don't want other people to contradict ours or to say, I'm wrong. Because anyone will say, when the other guy says, you're wrong, we know all how we react when people say, you're wrong. You know? Say, I'm right, you're wrong. You know? How do you react when you do that? You know, it's not a positive thing. But first and foremost, I might say that I grew up in churches. My parents were singers, Gun Krunsell and Herbert Moulton, and they were theatrical singers, theatrical actors, theatrical people, directors, whatnot. And but they did a lot of church concerts, so I had the possibility to hear them in the churches. And eventually I did church concerts myself. So the church per se was a place to work. You know, it was a place to meditate, but it was also a place to work. So I felt really home in churches. And I started doing professional theater when I was 11, but my first real paycheck was when I was about, 19, and I saw this little thing saying, church tax. And I was going, what? Tax? You can't pay God taxes, you know? And I felt that ever since. Of course, church as an organization, they need cash to maintain their services. But, you know, God is not a tax collector. Here's what I believe, that God is not religion. God is not religion. Religion is a medium, a thing that we've created in order to describe God. That's my truth. And then I invite you to consider this. You don't have to agree with me, but I invite you to consider it. And the center of all this is the emotional energy. And radiance and charisma can be measured. And people have actually measured more than body heat. charisma, what we call the aura, what we call, emotional output, what we call when we see somebody on stage with this enormous charisma. That's not just his body or his moves or his faces, the faces he makes. It's the actual electrons and the actual higher electrons of his spirit. And Michio Kaku, who is one of the leading physicists in the world, he has built this huge complex in Oregon that collides electrons in order to create and catapult out new higher electrons in order to prove these spiritual electrons. Thoughts have weight. They have proved that. Thoughts have weight. They weigh something. And you actually see a minimizing of body weight when somebody dies, And again, you don't have to agree with me, You don't have to, in the likes or in the comments, if you say something nice, that's great. If you say something not so nice, consider how you formulate it, because I will, stress my viewpoint. I will accept yours. But we can have different opinions. That's perfectly okay. What's right for you is right for you. What's right for me is right for me. And but the fact of the matter is that everything in the center of everything in my reality is that the emotional energy is everything. You know yourself, and this is a daily thing. We've all had the experiences when we think about a friend, we think about someone, and a few moments later, a few hours later, maybe, we hear from that person. We all read about something, talk about something, and then by chance we hear somebody else that we don't know talking about the same thing. I even heard a colleague mention a definite address of a place that I was going to that I had not told anyone except my wife, and my wife doesn't know that colleague. So these things are energy, and they happen, and they come from here. If you think positive things will come to you by your own decisions, because you think positive, you think of positive solutions. If you think negative, you come up with the negative solutions. But if you think positive, and we all want to think positive, if we're really honest, we want to think positive. We want happiness for everyone, no matter what people want to say, but we want happiness for everyone. We all know about the rice experiment in Japan, this teacher that gave his students 2 jars of rice, and the one jar he wrote a little note on it. It said, "I hate you," or "You're dumb." And another jar of rice, he said, "I love you," or he wrote, "I love you" on that jar. And he asked his students to send those thoughts or those feelings, "I hate you," bad feelings, "I love you," into the other jar. And what do you think happened? The bad rice with "I hate you, you're dumb" deteriorated in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, the other one, the "I love you" rice, blossomed or stayed the way it was. As I said, God is an emotional guy. And it's in your emotions. And you should become the master of your own spirituality, because you're a soul. Yeah? You're a soul. And you came here to do something as a person, as a soul. You're in your body. You're in your body here on this earth, in this place, to do something. And search the web. Scientific proof of God, reincarnation, all those kind of things. Don't take anything for granted and ask questions and question stuff. But know that you are not dependent on anyone else to make a spiritual decision for yourself. You are a spirit. And the heart will always tell you the right thing. Your emotion, as an actor, I tell my students to be in the moment and make emotional decisions and stay true to the emotion. And that was all for today. I thank you for listening. And stay blessed. And I'm very happy that you listened. Thanks.